Launching this platform has really challenged me because I've had to network not just in entrepreneurship and mental health, but now also writing. I'm your host, Vincent A. Lanci, and for this week on Writing with Authors and episode number 8, we bring on Jim Madrid. I met Jim networking for my other podcast series where I came across my guest, Kristen, on That Entrepreneur Show. She then networked with me a little more, and I came across Jim's profile, messaged Jim, and he's been a great resource on a mental health break as he has a company called AST that deals with mental health fitness challenges and mental health fitness programs. He also has a book with one more on the way on these topics. So when I found that out, I had to bring him on the show. Allow me to now introduce Jim Madrid. Jim, thank you so much for coming on the show.
From one Italian to another, Vincent, thank you for having me on. I love this and I love your platforms, and we could talk all day long too, Vincent. I know we could. So thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
Jim, it's great to have you. Would you mind please introducing yourself to our listeners and previewing your story without giving away too much of your writing endeavors?
Got it. Well, let's see. I'm a husband. I'm a father of 5. I'm a grandfather of 5, and that's probably my most honored accomplishments of my life is raising these 5 children. We got one left. He's almost out the door. He's a sophomore in college, just about ready to graduate from that and on to a junior. 5 beautiful grandchildren, and I know I'm going to have some more along the way sometime. But my business is about empowering, people. And as you and I have talked before in your endeavors and your, things that have happened to you in your life and how you've grown. And, people can say, well, if he could do it, I can do it. And, mine wasn't as tragic as yours. Mine was more in the area that I grew up in and being able to accomplish the things. I forgot to say this to you last time, is that I'm walking around in Mexico City with the ex-president of Mexico, and I'm going, wow, and he's like 7 foot tall, and I'm walking around, and again, what's going through my mind is this kid out of Rat City, and I'm walking around with ex-President Fox, and he keeps looking at me. He goes, "What's wrong?" I go, "Oh, nothing, Mr. President, nothing. I'm just okay. I'm okay." I just that's cool. So, hey, if I can do it, anybody can do it. You could do it, and I think that's probably my passion is, empowering people to see their full, potential that they have deep down inside, and stop with the negative self-talk. I can't, and start with right thinking instead of wrong thinking. So
I admire the positivity that you put back into the world. Let's now talk about this book, your latest book. Tell us all about it.
So the latest book is still, my latest is still in writing, right? And the working title right now is The Fundamentals of Mental Fitness. And what we say is that, and it doesn't have to just be for sports, it's in anything. You can't be mentally tough, deal with life's basic challenges unless you're mentally fit. You can't go out and perform athletically, and be that physical if you're not, physically fit. And so it's the same concept as that. So our mental fitness programs, that's what we're doing. My first book was Get Over It and Get On With It, but that was based on a course that I created called the 10 Principles of Entelechy. And entelechy was a word by Aristotle that meant a vital force urging someone or something towards self-fulfillment. So now, that one did really good. We're rewriting that, by the way. So we're doing a rewrite of that, bringing it more up to date. We wrote that in 2007.
Yes.
Yep. And then the fundamentals of mental fitness, we should probably be done probably by August, mid-September sometime.
Jim, now I'd like to backtrack a little bit. What led you to becoming a published author at first?
What led me to that, thanks for the question, is I was doing a lot of work around the world, from Australia to Spain, South America. And we would do this and everybody kept saying, Jim, you got to write a book. You got to put this down. You got to put it down. You have so many thoughts about it, And so finally, that's what led me to it. And in 2005, we had a home, we have a home in Laguna Niguel, California, but we had a second home up in Montana, in Whitefish, Montana. And while that was being built, I would go back up there. And if you've never been to Montana, man, that's just like the vibe, the energy is fantastic.
It's on my list for sure. It's on my bucket list out there.
Whitefish, Montana, then go to Glacier Park. That's another, we can do a travel show together, okay? But it was just so serene, and it just was the place to really concentrate and work on the book. And my co-author, Joyce Quick, unfortunately, she passed away a few years ago, and she was like a big sister to me. And I'd run stuff off by her, and we just worked really well together. And God bless her. She was just a fantastic lady, and she is truly missed.
Excellent advice right there. Having the correct synergy with your partner in the book. This pandemic dating back, the first project I worked on was an entrepreneurship book for kids. We're on the final sketches, and I actually had to sever ties in the relationship because there was 2 meetings where he showed up unaccountable with his work, 2 more meetings, just no show until I texted. So I figured, after consulting with my mentors, they said, Vin, if you want to run your own business, things are going to get difficult. And if you're having trouble with no money involved, imagine how difficult it's going to be when you're generating revenue. So thank you for sharing that take on things, because it's not just about picking up a pen, you'll realize, or typing on the computer. There's so many steps involved, and it also comes when your baby's done, your book's done. Who do you team up with? I have to shout out Chris Bridge, the amazing illustrator I worked with on Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health. Now I'd like to ask you for 2 pieces of advice to give to our community of writers.
One is that I certainly have never written a book before. I mean, I wrote curriculum. That was pretty easy to do. And I say easy, it was, building off of that. That's kind of our basic course. But, I'm the kind of person where, you could go through our course with me or hear me give a lecture on a specific, concept. And the next time you hear me talk, you'll hear a little bit of that. But sometimes I go, Vincent, I go, where did that come? Did that just come out of my mouth? Where did that come from? Right. And I think the first thing is find your passion, find a subject matter that just really gets you. I mean, the subject matter that I have started, like I said, as a personal interest, and now it's growing into a professional, passion for me. And if you just find that one subject, I tell a lot of stories, and, for every story I tell, my audience has 50 different stories. Each person listening has, and that's the beauty of storytelling, because it relates to something. I can relate to that. Somebody can say that. So, write your stories out, and then what are the concepts that are involved in that, and those are things. I mean, if you look at, your tragedy and your trials and tribulations that you've gone through, I mean, you can write endlessly on that, and that's the beauty of what you do too, Vincent, is that you bring that to and the passion you had and what you did and what you went through. I mean, good. I was telling somebody about you the other day, and I said, imagine this guy got walking across the street and some guy nails him. I mean, and this guy didn't know if he was ever going to walk again. And look what he's doing today. What a great story. I can use your story and say, look, here's my friend. Here's what he went through. And you're dealing with, you're being locked at home. Yeah, we don't like that. I get it. But there's some bigger things. I had my 2 older sons. I was a single father with them since they were 2 years old. And Jamie and Jeremy, identical twins and athletes. And I loved it. They were strong athletes. And at 15 years of age, Jamie was accidentally shot in the eye with a pellet gun and subsequently lost his left eye. Now, he, at 17, he led the league in 3-point percentage shooting. He's only got 2D. In fact, the name of his company is 20 Vision, not 20/20 Vision, it's 20 Vision, okay? But his attitude about it was, okay, he's got a prosthetic eye. I mean, dude, he takes that thing out, walks around. I go, what are you doing? He goes, oh, I'm just having a look around. He sees a girl, takes his eye out, puts his eye on her shoulder and goes, I got my eye on you. I mean, that was his deal. And then he led the league in three-point percentage shooting. He was on a local ABC affiliate in Seattle. And the host asked him, said, man, you were 15 when it happened. What do you think about all that? He says, well, Jamie says, well, it was meant to be. And the host says, what do you mean it was meant to be? He said, well, number one, if it didn't happen, I wouldn't be on your show. And he said, and I know this about me. I played better basketball today with one eye than I did when I had two eyes. I just wish I knew I was this good when I had two eyes. And he looked at the host and said, so what's holding you back? And the guy just went, wait, what?
I love it.
That's the kind of stuff, and again, if this kid can do it, everybody else can do it, and so we see so many people, especially today, isolationism, is just become, a mental catastrophe for especially those young kids, so stories like that, your story, Jamie's story, my story, to be able to bounce back and have the resiliency and go, yeah, there is hopefulness there, and I am worthy of success and happiness in my life. Yeah, that's what it's all about. So I think if you find that passion, find the right people to help you and encourage you, because as you know, Vincent, you get stuck sometimes. You just got to get up and walk, go for a hike in Glacier National Park and then come back, and you get in the middle of the forest. I swear to God, this happened. Get in the middle of this, it's called the Cedar Trail. It's a cedar planks, wood, trail that they made so you don't destroy the plant life. And I'm in the middle of it. I go, yeah. And it's like, I'm running back to the car because I don't want to forget it, right? And I can't wait to get back and and just start drilling out. Then I send it off to Joyce, and she goes, where did you come up with this? And I go, well, make it look good. Okay, Joyce, because mine's just bad, right? And you don't have to worry about it being great. I think that's another thing. You don't have to worry about all the punctuation and spelling and all that stuff. Just start writing. And I did this, and I teach, when we're lecturing and stuff, because there's so many things running through our heads. It's just write 1 to 2 word descriptions down, because that will trigger what you were thinking of. Instead of sitting there writing out a sentence, I always say, take some notes while I'm talking, but do this just 1 to 2, because I'm going to keep on talking and you're going to miss that part, So just 1 to 2 word, kind of notes that you could take.
A ton of great advice throughout. And I also want to thank you for the kind words. Your son's story as well is a perfect example of the positive mindset, the power of telling yourself, finally believing in yourself, I should say, that it is possible. Now, Jim, where can our audience find you? Where can our audience find your book?
So the book right now is on Amazon. It's on Barnes & Noble. It's all over there. We've done really great with it. And please buy my book, because that gives me $1.50, and I really need the $1.50. And jimmadrid.com, and also astacademy.com. That's our advanced sports technology group, our mental fitness group at astacademy.com.
Jim, this has been an amazing episode. Thank you so much for joining me on another series. And for all of the viewers, thank you so much for supporting me through 8 episodes. 2 more to go. Stay tuned, and thank you for watching.